All right, hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone on whom I learn from each and every day. All right, healthy shalom to the elect out there, each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Also to the speckled bird, right? The speckled bird, the elect that gonna come looking like other nations. I say shalom to you. Now, hey, look, this video I put up on TikTok, a long time ago. I mean, I don't know, so I'll call it a real long time ago. I'd say months ago, and it was going into where, these Southern Kingdom so-called black women, right? Was going in and talking about the main problem with the black community, which they ain't no damn community. Ain't no such thing as no stupid ass black community. It is, they threw, man. They finished. Anyway, talking about the whole problem with the black communities, the men, blah, 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 blah. And you got all these channels on YouTube or wherever, the Manosphere channels and all that, which, some of them are correct, but they really got the men and the women pitted against each other. But ultimately, Yahweh Shem Shah said he's the one that's going to be doing, things like, pitting the men and the women against each other, and all that in these last days, simply because, well, I mean, we can go to the book of Sirach, and it tells you of the woman that came to the beginning of sin. It also tells you that she would leave. In the book of Deuteronomy, it tells you she would leave, the child that cometh between her feet. All these different curses and all these different things, and it's happening. All right, but see, our women don't really quite understand what's going on. And guess what? I blame it on the men. All right, I blame it on the men because they've been neutered in more than one kind of way. They've been neutered with estrogen and the food. They've been neutered by first and foremost, they've been neutered by a stronghold called Christianity, right? And the Queen of Heaven spirit. So I'm going to try to keep this brief and quick, right? So I put this video up. You see it's right there, Gabar Dama creator. And this, for some reason, I don't know what is going on with this, but it strikes a nerve and people's emotions, start flying off the hook when you're going into subjects like this, when you're going into, Roe v. Wade, abortion is murder, is what it is. Okay? And in this society, it really is strictly the woman's decision, and I'm not saying that's a good thing either. No, it's not good because it's murder. The scriptures very plainly tell you thou shalt not murder. All right? Ultimately, Yahweh shall unalive people and heals and makes alive. So we understand that, but it's the evil thing to be wicked towards the offspring of your bosom. Matter of fact, because if I get off of this, sometimes it won't let you get back on in the same spot, off of TikTok or whatever. And fuck TikTok, by the way. It don't even matter. It's this video got like 70,000 views, which is strange. I don't get it. Okay, anyhow. So this person here simply ALD, simply ALD. Seems like LD may be, up this person's alley. I'm not sure. Learning disabled or whatever, man, because they're not quite understanding. So there was a scripture I wanted to get into. But anyhow, I'll leave it right there. No sex before marriage is the man's job. Okay, well, hey, look, everybody understands and knows that it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango, and right, and there's no such thing as no sex before marriage, because sex is marriage. So I typed this in. I'm not going back and forth with nobody, let alone some woman. I'm just not doing it. Here you go. Genesis 24th chapter, verse 67, Salakia. And Isaac brought her into his mother's tent and took her. What does that mean? What does that word took mean? When you take somebody, hey, look, if you in the throes of passion, as they call it, or whatever, you ever heard a woman say, take me? You know what that means. All right? He took Rebecca and she became his wife. What does that mean? So when you go back to what she said here, Salakia, sex before marriage. Well, there's no such thing as sex before marriage, because sex is marriage. When you go in unto a woman, that she becomes your wife, okay? And a woman is supposed to have one husband all her life. And that's that. That's the law. That's the way Yahweh Shem Yahushua set it up. And there ain't no getting around it, okay? Anyway, if it's a man's job, or I mean, anyway, if all or a majority of black men, nobody's black. See, this is so simple. This person is so simple, they don't understand the beginning of anything. They just don't get it. All right, finally, you can tell it's a black woman. I'm just saying. Finally decide to be led. Black men finally decide to lead, Slakia, and take their time to marry before having children. You can't marry. Sex is marriage. Anyhow, in my opinion, black people be able to take over the country. Well, no. We're only oppressed and spoiled. Let's get that. Only oppressed and spoiled. It's not up to us to take over this country. This is a prison house. Scripture said they are all hid in prison houses. In the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. We're captive. Baruch 3 and verse 8, right? Deuteronomy 28 verse 29 reads, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind grope at the darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. And look, I'm not going to go too deep into this because clearly this person has no idea what they're talking about. So, this woman, you can tell it's a woman. Anyhow, but it's all good, though. Everything's a teaching moment. All right, why do you keep posting Bible verses that have nothing to do with what I was talking about? Well, dude, this scripture here, Genesis 24 and verse 67, has everything to do with the question that you asked me, or statement that you put up in this video here, right? Has everything to do with it. All right, so then, let's see, Bible verses, sex is marriage. You got to read the scriptures, what I said, correct. But there's also an oath that God, his name is Yahweh, has created with witness present, right? Well, let's go to it. Let's type this in here. Tokens. What? Tokens. Uh-oh. Salakia, I don't know what the hell just happened here. No, I don't want to do none of that shit. Uh-oh. Let's go back. Tokens of her virginity. Let's go there. All right, Salakia, my other phone, I was doing some other stuff. Anyway, tokens of her virginity. Tokens of her virginity. All right, so correct, but there's also an oath where people were present. Well, the people that were present, in this certain situation were what? Her parents. All right, because look, before you get married or before a man takes you and goes into you and becomes your husband, right, which is the only husband that you're allowed and supposed to have throughout your whole life. One husband. That's it. All right. And if you've done the dirty or the horizontal mambo or whatever with another man before that or after that, you're going off. Not unless, as the scripture said, your husband is in the spirit world, then you are free to do what you will. It's Deuteronomy 22 verse 20 reads, but if this thing be true, let's go back. Yeah. Ooh, there's a lot here. You may have to go back and read this in your own time, but this is going into, well, you know what? Salakia. I hate to do this, but I hope it works like I want it to work. Because I think I got it pulled up here. Let's see, Deuteronomy 20. Take a wife. Yeah, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 13. Yeah, that's where I wanted to be. Yeah, okay, let's go there. Salakia, this is total organic here, total impromptu, if you will. All right. So you see what she had to say right here. All right. About people being present or whatever. Well, I mean, she's probably thinking about the world view and how, everybody's there at the wedding and, they do their damn coordinated dance and, maybe even jump the damn broom. It's got nothing to do with that. All right. The people that were present in this situation, let's read it. Deuteronomy 22, verse 13 reads, if any man take a wife and go unto her and hate her, right? Verse 14 reads, and give occasion of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her, saying, I took this woman and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. What does that mean? There's that word took again, right? He took her, he went and what? And went into her, and he found her not a maid. That means he found her not a virgin. What does that mean? We just spoke about that just a moment ago. That means that he went into her and he found her not to have the hymen broken. All right. In other words, in the world they say the cherry, right? Her cherry been popped already. That means that she belongs to another man. That means she's already been penetrated and she's already taken. I found her not a maid. Verse 15 reads, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father, which your father basically, is over you and is your property until until a man goes unto you and you're married. That's the way the law works. That's the way Yahweh Shem Yahushua set it up. All right, and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city, and the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife. And he hated her. He hated her. He hated her. Why did he hate her? Because he accused her of not being a maid, a virgin. And lo, he had given occasion of speech. He talking shit against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. I found her not to be a virgin, right? And that's a problem. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. So what was it? He brought the cloth. Let's read it. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. So that was the evidence. It had the blood on it. The evidence was, look, she was a maid. She was a virgin. So let's keep going. What you say? Why do you keep posting Bible verses that have nothing to do with it? Has everything to do with what you're talking about. You just don't quite understand it. The scriptures very plainly said the election has obtained it and the rest were blinded. And I hope I'm a part of that number that has obtained it. The eye salve, the understanding, the gift, right? It's because, I just told her, it's because you don't understand the scriptures. Hopefully the Most High, Yahweh, all right, will show you. If not, oh well. And we don't give a damn. I'm just being honest. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care if you get it or not, man, because either you are part of the elect or not. That's it. 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 39 I put here. I wrote down here, typed in, whatever. All right, the wife is bound by the law of her husband as long as he liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. And what does that mean? She can marry whom she will, but she's not to go marry another nation, because, hey, if you have children, it ain't going to be nothing but a tear and for the sword. And that's it. All right? So it's got to be done the right way. Everything's got to be done the right way. And that's why the book, the Bible, the word is written for our learning, as the scripture said. I could close the book right there. See, the apologies. I don't believe I'm following what is the correlation between this and my stance. That's your problem. Man's goings is of the Lord. You can't understand your own way. Anyhow, that black population, ain't nobody black, would grow fundamentally. We don't want the black population to grow. Hell, look at the fruits of the black population. And 2/3 of our own people got to go, and well, that includes Northern Kingdom. Okay? Let's see, men only courted women and only had sex. I just say it is what it is. We grown people. All right. With the woman he planned to create a home with. What about King Solomon? Hey, what about, Moses? What about, there's a multitude of men in the scriptures that had way more than one damn woman. Okay? Matter of fact, I had that Deuteronomy, because I stopped posting the whole scripture. You know how it is. It's the new TikTok anyway. I really don't care. I don't care. Screw TikTok. All right, Deuteronomy 21st chapter. All right. Deuteronomy 21, let's pull it up over here on this phone here. And I'll close it out. It don't have to be long. In verse 15. All right, so you can clearly see that she doesn't understand. If that's okay. Hey, again, like I said, maybe the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, will give you some understanding and, let you know what's going on. If not, oh well. It's only up to us just to tell you. And I'm glad you're curious about it, but rebellion is the sin of witchcraft, and that's that. Deuteronomy 21 verse 15 reads, if a man have two wives, what did that say? Did it say it was wrong? Uh-oh. If a man have two wives, one beloved and the other hated, and they have borne him children. Did you hear what she said? Both they're gonna make a house together. Well, he may have 20 houses with 20 different women, and that's just the way it is. It's not against Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Matter of fact, that's the way he set it up, and it's going back to that in the kingdom anyway. And you're gonna be happy about it. Just don't worry. All right. And they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, verse 16 reads, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which indeed is the firstborn, right? So that's going into the birthright and all that of the firstborn. But I answered a question. Let's see, choose one human. Right, so what in the world does this say? I don't want to go no more into it because, I'm not going back and forth. I'm just not doing it. Let's see what this says. Right, so he chose one human and married her. What? They traditionally were responsible for their offspring in those days. Well, we still are. It's just we are the curses, man. And the scripture very plainly told you in Deuteronomy 28 chapter also that the damn man's going to leave his children. It says that. All right. All right. The children would be more likely to stay with their father if the parents were separated. What? But that's his lineage. Of course it is. That's not as it is today. Well, of course that's his lineage. It's always going to be, my children are always going to be my lineage. My children are also my wife's children too. But that's my lineage. That's my seed. That's what that's about. You can look in the book of Numbers, other places. Apologies, I don't believe I'm following what is the correlation between this and my stance that black population would grow fundamentally. I read that. It's just a group of stupid and unlearned statements. That's all it is. All right? Give it all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Look at that. Yeah, you just got to read the scriptures, man. You got to read the scriptures. All right? And if you don't understand, then you don't understand. Matter of fact, the scripture also said, if she'll ask anything, ask her husband. If she'll learn anything, ask her husband at home. I don't know if she has one or not. I have no idea. So I really shouldn't even be talking to her. All right? Let's go back. There we go. For it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church, man. And it's an assembly. One or two will gather together. 1 Corinthians. Come on now. Let's go. This is taking way too damn long. There we go. My goodness. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 35. Let's go back. Damn, this is taking forever, man. What in the world? See, now my phone's tripping. You see? It's Satan, man. It's 10:44. Call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Yes, sir. Yeah. Verse 33, oh my goodness, I can read all that. Let's go. Verse 32 reads, and the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. That's why I told her you don't understand, you don't get it. You may get some clarity, but you really need to ask your husband at home if you have one. And if you, hey, I'm just saying, we all got a past. It is what it is. 33, for the Most High power is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. Let your woman keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. Verse 35, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. Well, you can't ask your husband at home if you ain't home. I'm just saying, you can't ask your husband at home if you don't have a husband. All right, and if you can't be quiet, you a damn witch. And the scripture said you are. All right, you have to ask the husband at home, for it is not for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church. And that's that. I'll leave it right there. So I don't know. I guess this lesson is going to be entitled just another. I could go that route, but I probably won't. A cackling hen that don't understand the scriptures, man. Understanding, having a fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. How about that? Something along the lines of that. Or a TikTok woman don't understand the concept of marriage. I don't know. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah. Shalom. Much love to you, family.